today we are going to be doing a super fun science experiment. So in order to do the experiment, you're going to need a few materials. We're going to use 5 toothpicks. We're going to be using a cup of water. I've got mine in a little bowl. We're going to be using some food dye to see how it affects the water and the wood. We're going to be using a straw. I'm using my straw in order to carry and drop my water. You can use a dropper, a spoon, or anything else you have lying around the house. A straw is not necessary. Last, we're going to be using a plate. So you want to make sure that when you do this experiment, you're using a surface that you can put food dye on. Try not to ruin mom and dad's tables by putting it right on the surface. Try and use a plate or a paper napkin or a paper plate, anything like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So as I said earlier, we're going to be using toothpicks in our experiment. Do you remember what toothpicks are made out of? I'll give you a hint. I said it earlier on in the video. Take a closer look. Toothpicks are made out of wood. The scientific word for wood is xylem. I'm gonna go ahead and put that up on the screen for you guys, because xylem is spelled very interestingly. Can you try and spell it? All right, so we're going to see how water affects wood. Do you think that the wood is going to shrink, grow, or stay the same size? Go ahead and write down in your science journals what you think is going to happen when we add water to wood. And then we'll come right back and do our experiment. Welcome back. I hope you wrote down some really good predictions. I think that when we add water to the toothpicks, I think that they are going to expand, but I'm not quite sure. So let's go ahead and find out. We're going to take our toothpick and you're going to very carefully snap them in half, right down the middle, so that we can make a V shape. Okay, you see how I split it down the middle and I made a V shape? Now I'm going to take my plate and I'm going to line it up on my plate. Go ahead and do that with all 5 of your toothpicks. All right, once you've got all of your toothpicks split in half, we're going to arrange them in somewhat of like a circular shape. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm seeing then in just a second. All right, welcome back. Now you guys can see my plate. You can see I have my 5 V-shaped toothpicks set up in somewhat of a circle formation. See the little circle on the inside? Go ahead and make sure that they are all close together enough and form that circle. Next, we're going to push that to the side and bring forward our water. We're also going to take our food dye so that we can watch what happens when we add water. So I'm just gonna get the food dye out. I'm gonna add a drop of the food dye to my water. Whoop. All right, I have a little straw here to help me stir and drop my water onto my plate. So I'm going to push my food dye away from me, and you guys can still see it. We're gonna bring my plate forward. You're going to take your straw, pinch it with 2 fingers towards the top, and hold 1 finger up on the top. To grab the water, put the finger over top of the hole. Let go when you put it in the water, put it over top to hold the water. You can see, boop, water came out. All right, so now we're going to get a drop of water, hold it in our straw, and we're going to drop it in the middle of our toothpicks to see what happens. All right, there it goes. Do you see what's happening? We'll let it go for a few more seconds so that we can watch what's happening to our toothpicks. So we can see that on our plate here, the wood expanded to make a star. Can you see the star? So the V shape opened up and blossomed into this awesome star shape. I want you to think about why it did this. All right. So I wanted to show you guys what happened after a few minutes. You can see that our toothpicks have turned red because they've absorbed the dye. They've also expanded to make the star, as I previously stated. You can see here that the dye has been absorbed and the toothpicks have expanded. Eventually, the toothpicks will become dry again and they will begin to shrink and move away from each other. That may occur over multiple minutes and may take a while to see. But if you would like to wait it out, you can place your plate in a separate area and come back to it in a couple of minutes or even a few hours to see how it changes. Now that we've done the experiment, we're going to discuss what we believe we saw, and we're going to discuss our predictions, our observations, and finally our explanation. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up our experiment today. After letting it sit for a very long time, you can see that the wood is almost completely dry, but it has also absorbed all of the water. Whoop, there goes my star. It absorbed all of the water and turned the toothpick red. So, what do you think that, how do you think that affects our prediction, our observation, and our explanation? I stated earlier that my prediction was that it was going to expand. So if you remember, we originally started with our wood in a circular formation and we ended with it in a star formation. So the wood expanded to create that star. So when wood and water combined, it allows for wood to expand. Have you ever had a door at home that maybe it got wet or the air was really humid, the air had lots of moisture in it, so the door got stuck? That's because the wood of the door absorbed that moisture and it got a little bit bigger than the door frame, so therefore it made the door hard to get out. This is because of wood expansion. So that is our explanation. Our prediction was that the wood was going to expand. Our observation was that the wood absorbed the water and did expand to create the star. And then our final explanation was that when there is moisture in the air or moisture combined with wood, it expands the wood to make it larger. So that is the end of our experiment. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.